So I want to break down the layers to this, I guess, that a lot of people I don't think they want to consider. I'm getting a lot of deja vu with what's happening with Master of the Universe and He-Man and the whole Kevin Smith situation. You can go watch my previous segment that I've done on that already, because we did already talk about that. But I think what is very important, and possibly the most important part of this that I don't want people to lose sight of, is that not Kevin Feige. Oh, he's lied too. But we're not talking about Kevin Feige. What is it with these damn Kevins? Kevin Smith is a liar. As in, like, he does not, when I say lie, I know that's a term that we often use loosely, but no, I'm literally meaning that he is a liar when it comes to He-Man and things that he was saying, or rather the Master of the Universe upcoming animation that was going to be on Netflix. He lied, as in he did not, he blatantly, despite being a part of this, he blatantly told people something that was antithetical to what the actual outcome was. He lied. Like, he absolutely lied. Now, I will say this. I was not a fan of Kevin Smith like a lot of other people were. I think, to me, and I know there's going to be some folks that disagree with me on this, and this is fine. I think, to me, he was just a product of the times, in which he was a guy that had done the independent films, and which is more stoner films than nerd culture films. They aren't really the same. Sometimes there's a lot of crossover. But between all of that stuff and him paying a lot of lip service to nerd culture stuff, he is seen in high regards from people that are more so on our side of things, that are part of the nerd. I always thought he was overrated. Definitely as a writer, when it comes to what, stuff he was doing with DC Comics, I thought he was overrated. I did not understand the necessary appeal. I think, to me personally, it was just one of those things where there was a guy that was kind of known and kind of seen who was paying lip service to a lot of the nerd culture stuff, and people were attracted to that. I think that's more so what he's a product of. Like, Kevin Smith doesn't, if there was connectivity and like the social media era when he was coming up and all of that sort of stuff like we have right now, I think you don't see a lot of the Kevin Smiths of the world. And now you're actually seeing how corporate he was. He was a very corporate sponsored guy, and not saying that to mean that was a negative thing. I'm saying that he was kind of there to bridge a gap between the corporate side of things and the nerd culture side of things, in terms of the actual guys that supported it. You're seeing how overrated this guy was, because as he got bigger, his ego got bigger, he got more amplified, and now we're seeing a lot of what we expect from generally the Hollywood elites from Mr. Kevin Smith. But I always thought the man was fucking overrated. But let's get back to the point here. He lied. And I'm going to tell you and show you some examples of this in terms of how he lied. And again, just quick context. Reason why a lot of people gave him a lot of shit, let's say that, because of what happened with the Masters of the Universe, is because of how he put his foot in his mouth. And I don't want people to lose sight of that, because a lot of when it comes to mainstream corporate press that he probably pays off anyway, or that at least the guys, the producers and all of them paid off to have a good opinion of this show. A lot of people are going to forget about that. When you understand what happened with Clownfish TV, and they had an insider that basically said that this was going to happen. This was not going to be a He-Man thing. He was going to be more so stepping aside from the plot, and it was going to be more so based on Teela. And he denied that with so much vigor, to the point to where he was quote tweeting and responding directly to the Clownfish TVs of the world that said that. And it turned out, once it came out, exactly what they, for the most part, said, though maybe with the whole Teela's black girlfriend thing was more of a queer baiting thing, but you get what it is. It still was a thing. And so he was, they were right. So it was a bait and switch, because you looked at a lot of the promotional tour that they were doing. In addition to all the things that Kevin Smith had said, it seemed like it was a He-Man. It was another Master of the Universe. It was more centered around He-Man. And yes, there's other characters that have been involved in that lore, including Teela, but obviously the centerpiece was He-Man. Now, if they had promoted it like that, I think people would have had less of a problem. Not to say that people wouldn't have had a problem, but you call it Masters of the Universe. You have all of these trailers and all of this stuff, and it seems like it's going to be He-Man. And then when it actually comes out, it's not about him really at all. And you can go see, for example, my man's Ass from Heel vs. Babyface, who watched all 5 episodes. I ain't watching shit. He watched all 5. He told, he basically break down everything in terms of the plot. If that's something that you don't care about, and don't care about spoilers, which you shouldn't, because why would you watch this? Anyway, let someone that does it for a profession do it for you, because they've told you exactly what this was, and it was obvious bait and switch. But Kevin Smith lied, and I'm going to show you an example of this right here. This is a tweet. May 28th of 2020. And it's basically a retweet from Clownfish TV. And this is what Kevin Smith had to say. I'm surprised it's still up. And because I guess Screen Rant maybe confirmed what it was that Clownfish had been saying over a year ago. And about the Masters of the Universe script and what was happening. And this is what Kevin had to say. He said, with all due respect to Screen Rant, I've read every Masters official script for our shows, plus wrote a few, and viewed 4 amazing animatics. He says, while Teela is present, as she's always been in the Masters of the Universe adventures, she plays a big role. Our series is literally all about He-Man. That was a fucking lie, man. So this is what I'm talking about. That's a literal lie. We have to, at minimum, concede that he lied. Now, whether you say it was based on ignorance because maybe he wasn't as connected as he led a lot of people to believe, he lied. This is a live tweet that is still up that you can go check out right now. He lied, man. Multiple times. He lied about what this show was about, man. So are they gonna present it as if it's, that's just a toxic man babies that had so much to say about this plot line, and they're just being mad and all of this sort of stuff. This is how cocky Kevin Smith is right here. Look at him. Kicking his feet up. What is that? Skeletor on some Pumas. It tells you, like Lorena's tweet tells you how corporate this shit is, man. He says this is actually kind of flattering. Both the boys, which is not true, by the way, not with the boys, and Captain Marvel went through this too. So I'm in good company. Imagine trying to compare yourself rather to Captain Marvel and saying you're in good company. Lets you know that, okay, what is going on here? He said, went through this too, so I'm in good company. He says the review bombing is transparent, so luckily it's not going to trip us up. But do you know what can trip us up? My untied Puma Skeletor sneakers from Foot Locker, just corporate top to bottom, right? Basically saying how sponsored he is, which whatever, that's his business. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But to think you're in good company when you mention Captain Marvel is hilarious to me. And the boys did not go through this. Well, I don't know what the hell is he talking about. And that's what they always say. They'll say anybody that is, has a different opinion, like Captain Marvel, for example, is a toxic man baby that just wants to review bomb it, right? They're not being honest. They just don't want it to succeed because they hate the whammon. And that's what's happening. God forbid people actually don't like the shit. And God forbid those whole Rotten Tomatoes paid critics under the table by way of either direct money or access. Yes, I will accuse them of that. I have no problem doing that. It's clear and obvious that that's the case. Of course, they're going to, if they co-sign it and it's different from the audience, it has to be that the audience is wrong, right? It can't be the critics are wrong at all by way of, again, kind of saying what they have to keep the access. That couldn't potentially be what it is. This man's a compulsive liar. He's cocky as fuck. Imagine that. Let's take a step back real quick because I want people to remember what the events had happened that kind of took place before. Kevin Smith, literally, there's video footage of him saying that he had zero love. He had no love for He-Man. No love. Like, it's one thing to say that you're ignorant on He-Man. He said he had no love for He-Man. Felt maybe that he had a space in the comic book realm, but he had no love for He-Man. So, when I do videos, and I have done for years, and I say they get people that are part of these projects that have zero connection to the source material. And then Kevin Smith gets a job where he's literally on tape saying that he didn't care for He-Man, and now all of a sudden he's part of, basically at minimum, executive producing in some capacity what's going on with his universe. That's pretty fucking amazing. If I do say myself, it's almost as like you have to think a certain way, be a part of a certain social club. Now, because everything is so corporate, your knowledge on things as well as your passion for things doesn't even fucking matter when it comes to getting your job. I don't know. I've been saying that for years, man. I'm just saying. Kevin Smith proved me right on this. But not only that, he got so cocky, not just in with the tweet it is that I showed you. If you go watch how kind of the breakdowns and the behind the scenes, this man bragged about, spoiler alert, killing off Prince Adam, He-Man, twice, which they did. He bragged about it. He's like, how metal, look at me. Not only did I do it fucking once, we saw last episode, we did it fucking twice. We killed his ass off. But guys, if you take issue with how the events have kind of transpired, if you will, you're toxic. You're a man baby. You're a review bombing piece of shit. Not the person that has just lied about everything and then spitting you, lied, a part of a project that he had no business being part of, lied about what was going to happen in it, put it out, and then bragged about the events in its regards. And then you're going to get so many people that gaslight you, try to make it seem like none of that ever happened, but also in the event that you take problem with this, well, you are the problem, not someone else or Kevin Smith, or the bait and switch, or the content, the animation in it, of course, is what was appealing about it in the first place. And that if finally it seems that we're getting American animation that doesn't look like fucking Steven Universe. It's awesome. Not Steven Universe. That shit's trash. But you get what it is that I'm saying. All for it to be a bait and switch. Yeah, of course, a lot of people that were looking forward to it were going to have problems with it. But are you going to expect these paid access guys, as they sit up here and blame supporters and fans and are they ever going to hold him accountable for literally lying? I mean, again, let's do it one more time. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. And this is what pisses me off about people who will try to gaslight you. They'll completely remove the context. Let's look at this one more time. He said that while Teela is present, as she's always been in the Master of the Universe adventures, and she plays a big role, our series is literally about He-Man. No, it was about Teela. So he lied, man, multiple times. It's just one example of it. He lied. That's the part that needs to be the focus, and that's the part that we need to be emphasizing, and we have to consider all of that in context when you or before you get to criticizing the fans, which is always the problem nowadays, right? Because everything is that corporate, and these guys aren't going to feel the brunt of their non-success or bad reviews. It has to be something wrong with you. It always has to be you. You're never not the problem. You're the problem because you don't have the opinion of being a pig that just consumes everything it is that they give you. They expect you to. And then they'll try to make it seem like, well, what's wrong? Teela's a part of the Masters of the universe. So why, what's the problem? Not everything has to be like just completely removing context and gaslighting and acting as if the bait and switch never happened. That's what they're going to try to do. And they're already doing it. Here we go again. Fans respond. And I'm not going to say and pretend like there aren't people that are reviewing it just to give it a bad review, but to act as if there's no legitimacy to it and just to completely write it off because they're not giving it 95%. I bet if there was review bombed in a positive manner like they did with Captain Marvel, by the way, well, you had people just giving it 10s just to give it 10s, just to overset and try to do shit out of spite. Yeah. That when that happens, it's not a problem. It's just only people that review it negatively. Kevin Smith is an overrated liar. I do genuinely believe that. I will not believe that he's a liar. Like that's not up for debate. What is up for debate, because he did lie about it. What is up for debate is how I feel about his contribution to what it is that our cultures are. And I think there's a lot of people that gave him a lot more leeway, a lot more, let's say, putting him in high regards a lot more than I had ever. I didn't even understand the appeal, but now you're seeing that he's a lot akin to what you expect generally from mainstream, or rather Hollywood this day and age anyway. He's exactly that. The motherfucker lied to you, and now he's bragging about it, basically, or rather kicking his feet up with his Skeletor corporate Pumas on, and he's acting as if, well, ain't gonna faze me. I lied to y'all, but who gives a shit? You just watched a clip from our podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.